Welcome to Love and Money Secrets TV, and I'm your host, Dame Lillian Walker. And today, oh my gosh, you know how I say, dream the impossible dream, it's possible? Well, we have the embodiment of someone who has had impossible things happen to her. They've been possible in ways that are going to blow your mind, because this girl has a story. You look at her and she looks like she belongs on the cover of Sports Illustrated or Vogue, because she is gorgeous. And when you hear what she's gone through, you're going to go, no way. And as recently as a few weeks ago, she had a titanium rod, which is supposed to be indestructible, busted inside her back. But before we get into those details, I want to introduce Teresa Rogat.
Hello.
Today from beautiful Canada, our northern neighbors. How are you doing, Teresa?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you. That was quite an introduction.
Oh my gosh, it's from the heart. You are a very special friend and gem to me. We are fellow genius mystic healers. We met at a Dr. Joe event in Cancun. We've been soul sisters since we met up. We've had a very special connection and friendship. And so, Teresa, would you share with our listeners, you have had this extraordinary journey. It's like covering every area of your life. So you want to take them back and show them a little bit about, let's rewind the tape of your life and show them kind of the before and what you had to go through. And then fast forward to a few weeks ago, just when everything was finally, we thought, all smoothed out. Of all things, your titanium rod in your back. So horrifying. So would you?
That was an experience. Yeah, we can start. If you want to rewind from the truly beginning, we go back to when I was 2. And I was abused for the first time by my babysitter. And drowned. Well, he tried to drown me. Obviously, I'm alive, so that didn't work, but he did his best. Then when I was in preschool, I was abused by the caretaker. She would pull my hair and pinch me a lot, which I just found out just recently, oddly enough. My mother brought it up. She said that I didn't like somebody in particular because of the color of her skin. And then the flash came back, and then I found myself back in kindergarten. It was like the weirdest thing.
Wow.
That I didn't tell you about because I just found that out not long ago. Then from 5 to 13, I was sexually abused by my stepfather. I tried to commit suicide at 10. Then I abused myself personally from 13 to 18, became an alcoholic and a drug addict. Almost did drugs like every day as much as I could to just numb the brain. From 18 to 33, I was in a domestic violence relationship where he did every abuse known to man to me for 15 years. So the emotional, the sexual, the financial, I don't even remember them all.
Psychological and spiritual too, because it's all together.
Yeah. So all of that. And then I left him when I was 33. And why I said 33, I told him I will rise again, or I will be reborn again at 33. And I'm not a Christian. I'm not Catholic by any means. I didn't even believe in God, whatever. So that I kept saying that was odd, but I only realized it after I left. That's what I kept saying. And I didn't even know why. I said, I'm going to reborn at 33 and you ain't going to have anything to do with it. And I literally passed out the day that I left. He picked me up and strangled me, and I lost consciousness. And I don't even know how I came back, because I wasn't even touching the floor. Like there was no reason for me to regain consciousness. And then all of a sudden I was breathing again, which was really weird. And I was purple. So it was just like, it didn't make sense. Anyway, so, God, source, I love him. And then when I was 40, Yeah, 2016, because now I'm 47, it's gonna
Yeah,
be
pause button.
48.
You guys hear that? She's over 40. She looks like she's 30. She's over 40. You heard that correctly. Okay, continue on.
So when I was 41, I found out I had cancer, and it was a sarcoma cancer. So it's a tissue cancer, and it was in my lumbar muscle on the right-hand side. And I found out because I was jogging home from a friend's house early in the morning, and my legs gave out. And then I found myself flat on the floor in the middle of the road, trying to understand what just happened without understanding anything, because had been running for like months. So why that happened didn't make sense, because technically I should be stronger, not weaker. And then I finally picked myself up after maybe like 5 minutes lying on the ground, and then jog myself home because I was in a little bit of pain. Then I was massaging myself, and that was July 1st that happened, 2016. And then I was massaging myself. My mother's a massage therapist, so she was massaging me. She was giving me instruments to massage my back. And it kept growing and growing and growing. And every time that I would massage it, it would grow even more. So it started off for like the size of a pea and ended up being the size of a baseball, like a real baseball. Like it was 10 centimeters it was 10.5 by 5.5.
Ooh,
Is it centimeters? Oh, it has to be, yeah, centimeters.
yeah.
Anyway, so in August, I wasn't able to walk anymore at the end of August. So just like 2.5 months later, I was hanging onto walls. I was in excruciating pain. My husband at the time said, you have to go to the doctor. You realize you're not able to walk, so it would be a good idea. So on September 1st, I think that's our construction holiday here in Canada. Is it not construction holiday? Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I went to the doctor that weekend, and I stayed, and they kept me in the hospital because they couldn't figure out what was going on. I got an MRI scan, got multiple scans, and then multiple specialists came to see me, and they couldn't figure out what it was. They thought, because I recently had a tattoo, they thought it was an infection. And ended up, and I said, I've had I have many tattoos, as you can see. So I'm like, I don't have issues with ink. So, and he's very clean and everything was sterilized. So I don't understand. And then one of the doctors said, we're going to send you to a specialist that we have in Montreal, one of the major hospitals in Montreal. And I went there, and a week later, I got diagnosed with the cancer. So I had 25 sessions of radiotherapy. I had a 17-hour operation where they removed the lumbar muscle, the S1 sacrum, 3/4 of 3 vertebrae, and 2 muscles from the shoulder to the pelvis, plus 1 inches by 4 inches of the pelvis. So they removed a lot, and they put me back together with 7 screws and 2 rods.
Oh.
So fast forward to 2019. Oh, right. Sorry. And I also did 4 sessions of chemo. And I almost had a heart attack, almost lost my sight on the first injection, because they gave me the biggest dose they could ever give a human being without killing them, because they didn't know what type of cancer that I had, because they had sent it to a specialist in New York, and she couldn't even figure it out. And she was the top-notch scientist, doctor for cancer in the world, and she couldn't figure it out. So she said, well, give her the best that you can and hope for the best. And then, seeing as I almost died, then I said, okay, well, you're going to cut that in half. And if you don't, I'm not doing it ever. I'm not doing another chemo treatment. So they cut it down. 3 more sessions later, beginning of May, I was cleared of cancer. And then in 2019, I started having trouble walking again. And they had seen nodules in my pelvis area. They found 3. And then I was just like, okay, I'm not going through this again. And then someone that I worked with sent me to a naturopath who works with the nervous system. And he unblocked my nervous system. And within 2 months, I got rid of the cancer
Wow.
because I cleared my mind. I got rid of my nightmares. I was like still angry. You figure you learn. I'm very pig-headed, so it takes me a while to understand things sometimes. And I realized that I was hanging on to my past. And it was myself that gave myself it was me who gave the cancer to myself. Like I didn't get cancer because of my DNA. It's not of any genes in my family. No one's ever had any cancer of any type in any lineage of my family. So they couldn't tell me it was because of my DNA and because of my inheritance. Like it had nothing to do with my family. So that's when I realized, like, I'm the one who created the cancer because I was angry. I was resentment towards the father of my kids because I have 2 children, 2 boys. And my hatred towards him and my want for revenge and my want for him to pay in every possible way was eating me alive.
Wow.
So I realized that I had to stop. So I went on a healing journey for 1.5 years, and that's where I met you near the end of my healing journey, which was really cool. And the connection that we have is totally insane. We have these weird things happening, and I'm so surprised it didn't happen today. I was like,
I keep on getting the God vibration feeling as I'm hearing, as we do when we talk, because there's so many things that are just like, oh my gosh, it's really incredible.
yeah. And then just recently, January 4th, I broke the rod in my back, which is titanium, which is technically not possible.
That's what I'm saying. It's supposed to be impossible, but there's so many things in your life. You seem to defy all things that are not possible. You've done it in both directions. You've learned how to do it in the things that are not possible to your detriment, and then also for your benefit. So you are the master of impossible. I'm just declaring it right now because you can show through your own life experience. No, all these things are supposed to be impossible, and they're obviously possible because you've been able to facilitate that for yourself and for others. So yeah. So titanium rod, I can't even begin to imagine the pain when that titanium rod busted in your back.
That's so weird. There was no pain.
That's so crazy.
It did not, nothing hurt.
That doesn't make sense either. That's impossible too.
The only thing that I'm uncomfortable with is my hip. My hip seems to be the only thing that is challenging for me at the moment, which technically doesn't make sense because technically I should have the rods because of the way that it's connected. I have like the rod is here and I have one screw here. One screw here, one screw here, and one screw here. And then I have a 4th one that goes directly into my hip. So I have 3 screws plus a 4th one that goes into my hip on just this rod. So technically it broke between the first 2 screws. So technically I should have it like pinching me or like digging into the mass that has been there. But no. But the doctor also told me that if I really want, I could remove the rods because I grew enough bone back that it solidified the rest of the vertebrae together.
Wow.
Which is weird.
That's unusual too.
The way that they grew is unusual.
But you've done a lot of work in meditation to restore your body.
Yeah.
And we know from meditative practices and so forth, what you and I have been exposed to, we know that the body can compensate for any man-made thing that's done to your body. The divine power that made the body can heal the body, and it can compensate and take care of whatever it is your body needs to do in order for it to be in an optimal state, despite having titanium rods. And in this case, despite busted titanium rods and even grown, additional grown bone. So, wow.
So I'm working on decomposing the titanium rods. I'm assuming that is why it broke in the first place, because I've been saying to the universe, I've been talking to Source a lot. And I've been saying, I don't need this anymore. So let's remove it from my body because I don't want it there. It's not part of me. I don't want a foreign object in me. And I know that I don't need it. My body's well enough, it's strong enough that it can grow back the bone properly in the original position that it used to be in.
And
Just
purge them out.
fill in the holes and then purge the titanium, which I promised my son I would do within 4 years.
So there you go. So now let's fast forward from January 4th to, I want to say it was maybe 3 weeks ago that we got you started on the stem cell activation patches.
Yeah.
And then it took an extra week to get to you because of shipping and so forth. So tell me about your experience the first day that you started on the Fantastic Five.
I had no pain that day.
Wow.
Within, I would say an hour and a half of having them on, I had no more pain. It was the weirdest thing. I couldn't even understand. And then I'm like, oh, well, maybe it's because I didn't move that much. I'm like, maybe it's because I was like sitting around the house because I had to stop work because of the pain that I was in. Because my hip is just like, every time I would walk, it would feel like somebody was trying to rip out the screw that was stuck in my hip. It was like the weirdest thing. So I think it was because of like, and so then that was my idea. I was like, maybe it's because I didn't move enough. So then the next day, when I asked you how I should position it, because I was unsure of my positioning, the way that I put it, because of the time difference between us, when I got it, I was just like, I had to put it on right away. And I was so excited that I finally had it in my hand. So then when I positioned it with the triangular formation, that was next level, because I've had inflammation in my back and I could see the difference because my back was so thick and so hard because of the inflammation. It felt like I was like knocking on wood. It was like the weirdest thing. It was like knocking on wood. So when I put the stem cell on either way, on either side, I could feel it working on the right side immensely. It felt like there was like little fireworks going on, like electricity that was moving from that stem cell, because I don't have many nerves on that side of the body anymore. There was literally a hole in my back. So there was
that muscle. Yeah.
So they removed a lot of nerves in that part of the body. So I am really numb. Like I have no sensation. You can pinch me and I won't feel it because I have no nerves there, but I could feel the electricity running through my body from that patch, which was really awkward. I ain't gonna lie. It was the weirdest thing.
This is wearable light technology. It's photobiomodulation. So it actually does turn on. It uses your own body's infrared light, and it's actually moving light through your body to turn on. You have now 33% stem cells that you were conceived with are now on that were previously dormant until you put this patch on. Because the moment you put the patch on your body, now 33% of those stem cells are actually now firing and wiring and creating whatever new cells you need anywhere you need it in the body. And in your case, I call it a triangulation, where we did the Fantastic Five, but we put Eon at the top of your spine. And because of what's going on with your particular spine, and because you've got that busted rod, we put an Eon on the bottom left, on the bottom right, where a lot of people have the dimples on the back of their back. We have an Eon patch on each side. So basically you have a triangulation, so that the energy from the top of the spine, the bottom left and bottom right, because your energy has a positive and negative charge. That's why we're doing the left side and the right side. And that's working out. It seems like with most of my people who have back surgery or back anything, that seems to be like a golden, it's just something that it works really.
Yeah, and the swelling has gone down. And I even to a point that I did it just for like 2 days. And it works fine. Like I'm fine now. Like I'm not in pain at all. And the swelling is still gone. So I started doing just the regular 5 on top on the spine. And if I get a day where I feel like I'm going to be doing a lot of movement, then I'll do the triangle again, just to make sure that I don't cause myself more irritation for nothing.
Yeah, because your body's still in the repair and restoration. So this is fantastic. We don't even have you on the ice wave patch, which is to turn off the pain receptors. The Eon patch, all the patches that you're wearing are patches that actually repair and rebuild your body from the inside out. And so, yeah, this is fantastic. And it sounds like you're doing really well. Not surprising about listening to your own body wisdom. And when if there's a day that you don't need it, you just need the Fantastic Five. You do. You suspect this is going to be a little more physically taxing day, and your body's telling you, it's like, hey, we need that triangulation back there with the Eon. You're putting that master and anti-inflammatory patch, the Eon patch, to do its job. And it's just giving you that extra benefit. So incredible. Have you noticed anything else with your energy level or your sleep or
Oh my goodness.
endurance?
That's night and day. That is night and day. And like, now I just put the alarm on for like 7:20 and I'm awake before. Whereas before you had to take a crane to get me out of bed. I didn't want to get out of bed. It was my favorite place to be. I was just like, I'm comfy. I don't want to get out of bed. My head is groggy. I'm sleep deprived, because I always felt like, because as we are spiritual, I've always done astral travel when I was a kid. So I think I do it automatically now.
Yeah.
And like, there's no thinking. I close my eyes, I'm gone. So I feel like I'm on a journey all night. And I felt like I was like, before I started the stem cells, it felt like I had done so much work while I was asleep.
Yeah. Because
10 times more than when I did when I was awake, that I didn't want to wake up, because I'm like, dude, I just worked all night during my sleep and you're expecting me to wake up? Like, that's not happening. But now 7:20, I'm up. I'm wanting to get out of bed, but now I do visualizations before I get out of bed. I look at my vision board before I get out of bed, because it's right in front of me. I read my list of things that I want to do. Like, I'm going to have a terrific day. I'm an amazing lucky generator. Like, I'm an amazing luck generator. Like, I'm alive. What was the other one? Anyway, I have like so many things that I read before I get out of bed. And I do my visualization and then I get out of bed. But it's not because I want to stay in bed because I'm exhausted. It's because I want to do the things that I know will bring the energy to me before I start my day. And I love waking up in the morning now. I'm not going out of bed backwards. I'm going with a leap in my step. Like, I'm excited to get out of bed and learn new things and do things. And I have no more brain fog.
No more brain
which
fog.
I used to have all the time. I was just like, I didn't know what to do with my day. I didn't know. I was just like, do I go left? Do I go right? I'm like, I just want to go back to bed. And like, it was just, I was so unproductive.
So let's talk a little bit about that brain fog, because most people are unaware of the fact that when you go under any kind of surgery where you are under general anesthetics, when they subject you to general anesthesia, by default, you automatically get a traumatic brain injury, because they have to lower all of your vitals in order for the anesthetics to take hold, for you to actually go to sleep and for you not to feel anything. And so you've had several surgeries that are fairly major in order to be where you are here today sitting before us. And so even though the doctors have not diagnosed you or informed you that you've had a traumatic brain injury, I happen to, I'm privy to that information because I worked on a film documentary, as you know, called Quiet Explosions. I was one of the associate producers, and that was one of the big reveals that, you know, it's obvious when you have, if you have a soldier that's a Marine that's, you know, dealing with detonating bombs and, you know, they're fighting at war, all the military, obviously, most of them have had traumatic brain injuries as a result of them fighting in a war. It's not so obvious for someone who's never been to war in that sense, who has had 1, 2, 3, or the person who's had the most surgeries in my practice is a guy who had 55 surgeries. Imagine the number of traumatic brain injuries that he's undergone. However, it is reversible. through stem cell activation. And these stem cell activation patches activate your stem cells. We're not putting in somebody else's stem cells. And we're not withdrawing your stem cells, centrifuging them and putting them back into you. We're actually activating the stem cells that you were conceived with, that created you in the womb, that have been dormant simply because once you're over 30, 50% of them turn off. And by the time you're 60, 90 to 100% turn on. So you're already feeling and sensing and gleaning the benefits of, wow, I'm so happy to hear that your sleep is so much better. You wake up energized, and your brain fog is gone. You're more focused. You've had, in less than 30 days, you've had a lot, significant changes, also no pain. That's incredible.
Oh, I've been lucky. Like, I'm so grateful. Like, I knew as soon as I saw you, even you, like, as soon as I've known you for like a year now, my God, it's already been a year.
Yeah.
Even I see the difference in you. So I was just like,
What do you see? I'm curious. What do you see different? Because because we met last January.
Yeah.
So what do you see different? I'm curious from an outsider's perspective.
Well, your hair is a lot, I think, brighter, and your skin is a lot better, and your eye is more open than the last time it was. And yeah, well, you've always been a bubbly person, so I don't think that has changed for me, in my opinion, because you're always had your awareness and you're very alert. I don't know if you're more alert, but for me, you've always been like on a higher level. So
yeah, my brain
for me,
process
like,
is faster. My hair is definitely softer and silkier because it was much drier.
yeah, I know.
Yeah. Not as full. It's just smoother, softer, silkier. And I have more hair growing. My hair is always growing fast, but my hairdresser the last couple of times said, goes, gee, hardly any hair. You know, when we wash your hair, I normally have a lot of hair loss. He says, there's hardly any hair that came out. And it's like, wow. And they notice a lot of baby hairs growing on my scalp. I'm like,
yay.
yeah, because I lost like half my hair when I had when I got hit by a bus, and then my hair got all dry and wiry, and it's like just no bueno.
Yeah, no bueno.
No
Nada.
Okay, so interesting. I didn't realize that it was visible
Yeah.
change in the last year. So very cool.
Yeah, I've noticed it right away. Like, I noticed, especially the last time that we talked, well, which was a miraculous meeting that we had. Like, that was just, and my third eye, it's always tingling. Always. And I feel, which is really weird, I feel like I always have to scratch my head because it feels like there's new connections being done on a regular basis.
There are new connections. Yeah. And that's the brain balancing that's taking place. You have your frontal lobe is being regulated, and both right and left brain hemisphere with the Eon patch. The Eon patch is a master anti-inflammatory patch, but it is also a patch that balances the left brain hemisphere, lowers your C-reactive proteins and your cortisol levels, which is from your fight or flight response. So that patch is such an awesome patch. It creates also a sense of calm. So we call it
I'm much more
patch,
calm.
because a lot of people after a month of being on the patch, they're like, not only are they so much happier and energized, but they're like, oh my gosh, they're more chill. And so it's a great feeling, actually.
It feels so good. I hardly feel like I felt anxiety today because I went with my ex-husband shopping. Don't tell him that I felt he was freaking me out. He was just like so stressed. And I'm like, will you calm? It used to be the other way around. He used to be very calm and I used to be very anxious. And it's either I dramatically went from anxiety to calmness, so calm that he's now more anxious than me. And I didn't know how anxious he was. But I was just like, dude, calm down. You're freaking me out right now. Like, and he goes, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I'm calm. Like, I'm actually calm and I can say I'm calm. And you're freaking me out. That's really weird because I was always on fight or flight. Since I've been almost alive, I've been on fight or flight.
You had so much trauma from 2 until then. So you had that's why you had so much anxiety when you have that much trauma in your body. So that's amazing.
Oh, it's the best gift I ever gave myself. So thank you for
Wow.
introducing me to it, because I don't know where I'd be right now. I'd
Awesome.
probably still be freaking out, crying in a corner in a baby in fetal position saying, "Where's my mother? I need some help."
You know, another side note, an Eon, one of the research papers on Eon actually showed that they actually measured that your consciousness is expanded with the Eon patch too.
I have
Which is,
so much knowingness now. Like I had knowingness before, where
yeah.
I'm able to read
Definitely.
certain people
Mhm.
without even knowing anything about their life. I can tell them their whole story in like 5 seconds. But I want to connect more to that now, because now I know that I know. How
Yeah.
I know doesn't matter anymore. Whereas before I needed to know why, how, what, like what the hell. But
Yes.
now it's just like,
It's more.
I know. And that's all. So that's gave me a lot of inner peace as well, which is weird.
Fantastic. Well, there you have it, my friends and gems. Teresa has this incredible life experience. I'm going to be putting your Facebook profile page in the description so that people who want to connect with you, I know you do some tremendous work with women who have been abused and battered, who are transitioning, getting out of the same type of history that you had, letting them know that there's no mystery in terms of how to do it, because you've been able to successfully get out from a bad situation, and you're now in a really great situation. We didn't talk a lot about it in this broadcast, but you've traveled all over the world for a little under 2 years. You were gone from Canada, and you've been able to experience so many other different cultures, and have had such extraordinary experiences as you've been able to really fully blossom in, you know, the purpose for which you were brought forth, and your whole personality has really been able to bloom like a flower, because you were able to get away from your certain and your, you know, the stability of your normal home environment that had been everything you'd ever known. And you left Canada and you went traveling to many, many different countries for nonstop for almost 2 years. It was a year and a half, 2 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, a year and a half.
And you've met so many men and women from all over the world, and women who've had, you know, similar issues that you've been able to help and bring them along. So if you'd like to connect with Teresa, she is back now in Canada, probably not for long, because I know she does have a pretty strong travel bug. But
Well,
yeah,
I just found out I'm going to be a grandmother.
oh my gosh, congratulations. You're gonna be a grandmother. Oh, everybody's gonna think it's your kid when they see you with the baby. Oh my, congratulations. Oh, that's
So I'll
so
be back in Canada a little bit more often than I thought. But
yes, yes, yeah. Babies will do that to us. So, well, congratulations. I'm so happy for you.
thanks.
And thank you for sharing your incredible story with us. My friends and gems, thank you for tuning in, tapping in, turning on. If you'd like more information on the stem cell activation patches, you can contact Teresa. You can contact me. If someone referred you to this video, make sure you get back to the person who referred you to the video. They will tune you in, tap you in, turn you on to all the information that you need. They'll make sure that you get all your questions answered. Our practice, we have 714 doctors and holistic care practitioners. We just added 2 psychiatrists yesterday to our practice. And so we have an incredible amount of knowledge and expertise in the different aspects of medicine. Many of the doctors are multiple board certified, and the holistic care practitioners, for the most part, have multiple modalities that they're certified and licensed in. So it's a great thing you don't just get the stem cell activation patches, you get the benefit of all that information and that wisdom too. And so that's it. It's a wrap. Teresa, sending you my love. As my friend
Thank you
Zeus
so
from
much.
South Korea says, you know, it's like we do heart hug, you know, heart hug. And then in Korea, they do the little tiny hearts that go heart. And so I was a little one too. Love you
All
much.
right. Thank you so much. You too.